Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici. Welcome, my friends. My name is Vincenzo, and welcome to my channel, Fountain Pen Therapy. Well, folks, I put on a preview just a few days ago about a new pen that I just received, and that I happened to stumble upon, by the way, just in surfing a little bit on Etsy and AliExpress. And from the photo, it seemed a nice pen. And then when I started looking at it a little more closely, I said, wow, it's got beautiful features. And then I saw number 8 size nib, which I believe is the first for this pen or for this manufacturer. And then I said to myself, that looks like a nebonite feed as well. I got excited. So I decided to order it. And as it turned out, I ordered by mistake 2 of them. So I had to write to Etsy, Easy Buy, and I said to her, please send me 1 blue and 1 red. Don't send me 2 blue. I figured, why not? They look really nice. So I said, I'll get a red one and a blue one. And folks, here it is. It's the Hongdian N10. I mean, maybe it's premature of me. It's still November, and Hongdian may very well come out with something else between now and then. But these pens, to me, or this model, I think it's the model of the year for Hongdian. I really think it's beautiful. It's got some gorgeous features. I'm really looking forward to testing the writing experience with this number 8 size nib with what I think is an ebonite feed. So folks, please stay tuned. Join me. I think we got a winner here. Okay, we're back with the pens. I figured I'd show you both just to give you an idea. I have the blue one and the red one, and from what I understand, there is also a green one, which incidentally, as soon as I got these pens, I ordered immediately. So I have the complete set unless something else comes out. These pen manufacturers don't cease to amaze us. They keep, depending on the success they have with the pen, they may, issue other things. It comes in extra fine and fine, which is nice. I would have, preferred that they also include medium as part of their number 8 size nib. My baby, that will be coming soon. I don't know. I don't know if anybody out there knows what's coming. But let's get excited over what we've got and not what we can have. Okay. First of all, what I want you to notice is that maybe we'll take the blue one and then we'll flip back and forth. This aluminum alloy, let me just close it up so that it lines up here. Okay. Aluminum alloy with this I guess the best way I can describe it is kind of a satin silky finish. And it's got that kind of in the light, it's got that swirl effect. I mean, this is unique. I haven't seen anything like this. Now, I know somebody out there will say, no, it's a déjà vu. Somebody else has done it. If they have, please let me know. It's interesting to know whether or not that design is completely unique. Personally, I've seen a lot of pens. I haven't seen them all. But I've never seen that kind of aluminum alloy, satin silky finish that swirls in the light like that. I think is just absolutely gorgeous. Okay. The next thing I want you to notice is these beautiful silver trimmings. There you have on the center band Hongdian N10. Very nice. It's almost a darkish silver finish depending on the light. And take a look at the rings here. It's got that nice motif. That it's not just a simple silver band, and it just glitters, if you will. It just adds to it. Beautiful, a beautiful clip. Is it functional? Stiff, but very, very functional. The finial, very nice, kind of a Smarties finial with a little bevel there, which is I would say typical of Hongdian. I've seen other pens use that. The other finial is just rounded but essentially flat, and it comes slightly to a point. The next thing I want you to notice is these lines. You see that line? And it lines up once you close the pen. You got one there and you've got one there, and they line up fairly well, I would say, depending on just making sure that you've closed it properly. There you go. There you have it. It just adds another touch. Let's go to the red one, just so that you get to see both. Again, you can see that finish, beautiful satin finish. I mean, really, really nice. The next thing I want you to notice is that little window, that I called it an eye window, or it kind of reminds you of Nautilus, the Nautilus pens, except the Nautilus has a much wider hole, if you were a wider window. But again, very, very, very nice. You can see the finial there in the red, or this pinkish version, and I'm looking forward to seeing the green. If we open up the pen and just put the cap aside, first of all, what you notice is that it's a piston filler, and again, I would imagine that that wrench that we use for the other pens would fit in nicely there. So it is a piston filler. That line that we see, or those two lines that we see, continue to be present even on the section. And then there it is, folks. Just a beautiful number 8 size nib. It's black coated. We're not told whether or not that's a titanium finish or a PVD finish like you have in some other pens. But again, I'm looking forward to inking that up just to see how it writes. It looks really, really nice on this pen, I got to tell you. Does it sit comfortably in your hand? Oh, it sure does. And that kind of satiny, silky finish is not as slippery. The metal is light because it's aluminum. That's at least what I understand. Now, the big question I have is whether or not, the first reaction is when I opened it up, I said, that's an ebonite feed. It sure looks like an ebonite feed. I just don't have the experience or the technical knowledge to be able to test it. I don't want to play with that nib either for fear of damaging it. But I did see on one of the sites, I am not sure if it's AliExpress or Etsy, the description is hard, natural rubber. And oftentimes the Chinese, because it's a bad translation, that really, natural rubber, hard natural rubber, that really translates into ebonite. At least that's my... Now, I welcome all the comments. I may be totally wrong. And, eventually we'll get probably Chris Rapp, who's going to do a Doodle Bud, and Inquiring Minds. They'll do their own, I would imagine, would want to review this pen, and they'll, they have a little more technical knowledge and they will be able to confirm. But folks, I sure think it sure looks like an ebonite feed. And if it does, wow, kudos. I think this is the first number 8 Hongdian size nib. I haven't seen any in any other pens. And again, I stand corrected. If anybody knows, please leave your comment, and just to inform all of us in that regard. Does it post? Yes, it does. It posts, I would say, fairly comfortable. It is a little back-weighted. We'll test it in our writing sample. But on the other hand, this is aluminum alloy. It's not brass or anything. So the weight is okay. One thing that I did notice is I think that, like other pens, that it kind of twists the piston filler, which is unfortunate. So you got to be careful when posting this pen. I think Asvine had a similar problem, but I believe the piston filler gets turned around when you post. But I could be wrong. I'm trying to look at the window. Folks, I don't think it does. because I don't see that piston filler going up or down. I think it's lower down. So maybe we're saved there. Maybe we're just, but I would caution, I'd be, very careful just to make sure you don't get it to a mess. I mean, I am just ecstatic. These pens are just, to me, in any event, they're just gorgeous. Let me pick up the blue one, which is just as nice. So there you have it. Beautiful, beautiful, just absolutely gorgeous. So what I propose is that we do a pen comparison, we'll show some measurements, and then the writing sample. Okay, we're back with the size comparison. The pens that I chose to compare the subject pen with are all the Chinese, well, except for my Mont Blanc, but all the Chinese number 8 size nib pens, if you will. In other words, I have my Hongdian, my Jinao X159. I have my Wingsung, 630. I have the Mont Blanc 149. Some people say it's a size 9 nib, but it's, to me, it looks like a size 8, but it could be a size 9. And then, of course, I have my Jinao 90 or 9019. Those are the pens. You could see that the subject pen Hongdian N10 is slightly smaller than the other 4, but not by much. In terms of girth, it's a nice size pen. I would say it is a lot girthier, if there's such a word, than one would think by looking at the photographs. It's really, really nice in terms of girth. So there you have it. And here you have an uncapped comparison. And what I propose that we do is that we kind of close up, just take a close up, let me just center that, of those nibs, just to compare them a little better, if you will. Actually, I'm going to flip that around so that they all are on the screen for you to examine. And in terms of sizes, it gives you a very good indication of the size of that nib. Now, it's difficult sometimes to compare just because some nibs are, when the nib unit is kind of deeper. For example, this 9019, I've got a feeling that the nib there is really deeply inserted into the nib unit, a little more than, for example, this Wingsung 630 and even my Mont Blanc. But in terms of size, you see that it's definitely a nice size nib. We can compare it, if you will, to just a normal size 6 nib. I'll replace that just to give you an indication here of the difference. And you know what? It says size 8, but look, when I compare it to my Joe in terms of length, it's not as big, if you will, as the Wingsung, but comparable to my Jinao. So that's curious. I think they say number 8, but the more correct size I think that they use is number 42 size nib as opposed to 33 or 35. So there you have it. Here you have the pens posted. Like I said, the subject pen does post very nicely. It's a little bit longer than the X159. You should ignore this 630, the Wingsung, because it doesn't post very nicely. It's very loose and it's not, not a good poster, if there's such a word. You can see it's smaller than just barely smaller than the 149 and equivalent to my Jinao 9019. So that's the posted comparison. We'll be back with some measurements and then the writing sample. Okay, so we're back for the writing sample. First of all, the inks. For that pinkish red, I chose this Kawiko red ruby, or ruby red, which I think is going to be a nice, and the swatch is right here. Actually, one second, I got the wrong page. Here it is, ruby red. So I think that's going to be a really, really nice match. And for the blue one, I chose this Birds of a Feather Van Diemen's Blue Jay Wing, which I think is going to be a nice match. And if I show you the swatch, there you have it right there, Van Diemen's Blue Jay Wing. I think that's going to be a nice match, or at least I'm hoping. So there you go. So that's for the inks. As far as the notebook is going to be my Tomoe River Sake TP 52 GMS white grid A5. So we can kind of put the blue and the red one on each of the pages. Now let me just try to focus here as much as possible so you can get the best appreciation of these of the writing sample. Okay, I'm not going to post it because I don't like posting my pens, so but I will test it. So let's look at this. So this is the Hongdian N10, and this is the blue model. The nib is the Hongdian fine steel number 8 size nib. The ink is Van Diemen's Blue Jay Wing, not crown. I think Blue Jay Crown is the other one. It's the wing. Okay, sorry about that. Here we go. Now, in terms of, it's got a little spring to it, I got to tell you. Is it wet? Extremely wet for a fine nib. Wow. I got to tell you, is it constant? Very constant. I'm not having any issues at all. There's no hard starts there. It really is just a gem. Is it smooth? Very smooth. It's got some feedback, which is pencil feedback, normal, that you would find with a fine nib. Okay, so very, very nice. So I would say that this pen is very smooth, or this nib. Very wet. And really constant flow, not a problem whatsoever. I like that ink as well. Very, very nice. Okay, so that's the blue version, or the blue model. Let's take a look at what the red one gives. And it's a good test to see if the nibs are consistent in terms of, you know, quality control. So here we go. This is, no, that's me, sorry. Hongdian N10 red. The nib is the Hongdian F steel number 8. Ink bit here. Kawiko. Ruby red. Very nice match, by the way. Here again, I mean, these are very nice inks, but this is a very nice nib. Let me just see. Here you could see I can get some line variation there. It's springy, and look at that. Just as wet as the blue. If you could see that, just as wet as the blue. Okay? Very, very constant. Doesn't skip a beat. Very smooth, or, you know, with a nice feedback, fast writing. That feed keeps up. So if that is a ebonite feed, I sure hope it is, because it's doing a great job. Okay, so here again, no complaints, folks. This is very smooth, very wet, and very constant. Wow, very nice. So let's proceed to my writing. We'll put the likes in red. What do I like about it? Well, folks, I like everything about this pen. So I would say that the number one thing is that nib and feed, especially if it is, as I suspect, an ebonite feed. The body finish, the trimmings, the design of the pen, the build quality of the pen. I mean, all top notch. Top notch. You know, I'm struggling to find a dislike, okay? I think in terms of dislike, I'm not sure if that posting affects, it doesn't look like it does, but maybe somebody else will be able to, you know, shed more light on it. I hope that posting doesn't affect. So posting and piston, I don't believe it does. The other dislike is that I would wish I had a medium nib, but again, you can't fault this pen for not, you know, the pen is what it is, and as a fine, it's just, you know, just 10 on 10, guys. But I wish that Hongdian had given us the option to get a medium nib. I'm not sure that I would want to have on my number 8, you know, either a Fude or a bent nib, which I don't, or even some of those long blade nibs. You know what? But at least a medium nib. You know, I don't think Chinese go as far further than that, except Majon, who's made that 1.1 stub that I can't seem to fit in any other pen. But, you know, medium is the best we can get in terms of standard nibs. So I wish they had the nib. But, you know, do I have any other dislikes about this pen? I'm not. I mean, overall, I give this pen a 10 on 10. And, you know, at the end of the year, I'm going to do kind of a, you know, resume, best of this, best of that. And I got a feeling that this will be on, you know, year-end best pens of the year. I just can't see why it wouldn't. So 10 on 10. Is this going to be a go-to pen? Absolutely. As fine as it is, I'm going to make sure that I use it. So yes, it's going to be a go-to pen for me. In terms of value, I will put the values up on the screen. I think it's anywhere between 40 and 45, if I'm not mistaken, Canadian. And I will try to put US prices, because I realize I have a lot of US viewers as well, all fairness to them. So value, I think the value is there. I mean, you know, a pen plus that nib, the feed, it's just, Oh, the piston. I mean, you can't go wrong. So all that remains is for me to say thank you for joining me, and thank you, Hongdian, for really coming up with another winner. And I will sign my review and thank my audience. Thank you very, very much for joining me. Folks, get your hands on this pen. I think it's a winner. I hope you guys will share my view on this, but I really think we've got a winner here. So, ciao, Hongdian. Not Hongdian, Hongdian. Please continue to come up with beautiful pens. You have made my year. Okay? Ciao, folks. Take care.